Welcome to the Financial Flow. Please like and subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay up on our latest videos. Simply by taking a look at it, you could tell that the Metaverse was going to be the most uninteresting platform that the internet has ever encountered. But things are a lot more dire than they first appeared to be. Despite the fact that Facebook, which was one of the most popular social media platform available, was the company that conceptualized and created the Metaverse, very few people actively utilize it. You could easily observe that many individuals in RuneScape Grand Exchange on one trade world, and then there's the graphics of the Metaverse. We've seen that already. We live in a world where we have ray tracing and photorealistic graphics, and that is a standard in pretty much any AAA title that is being created by companies like Rockstar or Bethesda, and yet the Metaverse does not have these features. The most popular part of the Metaverse is probably Decentraland, and it only has about 379 daily users. This is a clip from Final Fantasy XII, a game that was released in 2006 for the PlayStation 2, and had a total budget of only $48 million. This budget included not only the cost of creating the game, but also the cost of marketing it, and other such expenses. Compare this to approximately $15 billion that Meta has spent on their Metaverse in the last year alone. Speaking of graphics comparisons, a lot of people, myself included, had been trying to compare Metaverse characters and just the way that the Metaverse looked to Miiverse characters, because at first glance, you got to admit that they do look equally crappy. However, you know what I think? This comparison might actually be insulting to the verse because the Miiverse was launched about a year earlier than the Metaverse. Technology from 10 years ago and a lot less money. In addition to the fact that Nintendo has never really been known for having cutting-edge graphics, because that's not something that they really focus on. But despite these disadvantages, when compared to Meta and Nintendo, not even really trying to make the Miiverse look realistic in any way, it is still possible to play the game. Nintendo still managed to find the time to give their Miiverse characters legs. That's right, Metaverse characters don't have any legs, and they also don't have any legs, so it's not even like they have that kind of creepy but at least familiar Rayman aesthetic. With the floating limbs, no. Each and every one in the Miiverse is just a straight up below the waist amputee, being levitated in thin air, likely by the same cruel god who created them. Now, it would appear that the reason behind this legless phenomenon in the Metaverse is due to the fact that the Oculus headset, which is required in order to utilize metaphors, is not particularly effective at monitoring people's legs. It is relatively good at tracking you from the waist up, but below that it just has no clue. However, rather than just making stuff up to fill in the blank, such as giving people tentacles or maybe centaur legs, Meta decided to be the lazy and turn people into a floating torso instead. Now, to take care of the credit, it is true that Zuck is his actual form as an artificial intelligence, made an announcement that characters in the Metaverse will soon be able to walk. It is possible that it resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in additional cost, and it is also possible that Meta had to let go of a number of employees in order to make it happen. However, neither of these things is relevant, because what is relevant is the fact that your virtual reality avatar can now stand on their own 2 feet. But even in this footage that we have, the movement of the aliens still do not appear to be very realistic. It seems as though their ankles are a little rigid. And of course, neither their legs nor their torso have any shadows. Since there is no evidence of shadows in the Metaverse, I can only assume that every living thing there is a vampire. In addition to that, I would like to bring your attention to the fact that during this Connect presentation, Zuck was showing off his character's new legs. It is not actual footage of his character in the Metaverse. Rather, it is animations that were made from motion capture of his character in the Metaverse. These legs aren't even real. It's a trick Hollywood pulled on you. They want you to believe that you're going to have legs soon, but in reality, you're going to be a depressed floating torso in the Metaverse for a very long time. This is a Hollywood trick. But I can see this Connect speech for what it truly is. It's a cry for help. And more specifically, it's a cry for investors. You know, this time last year, Meta was trading at approximately $353 per share. But at that time that I made this video, that price had dropped to $134 per share. Now, a lot of people used to invest in Meta, or at least they did back when it was called Facebook, which was literally the F in FAANG or FAANMG, which refers to a different arrangement of big tech stocks like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. It used to be the case that if you invested in these companies, you would see better returns than if you invested in the S&P 500. And this was true for many years. However, recently, this trend has begun to reverse itself. It was also the reason why all of these large tech CEOs, and especially the founders of these large tech companies, are so rich, because the majority of their net worth is tied up in the company's stock. This is also the reason why Mark Zuckerberg has personally lost approximately $77 billion, or more than half of his net worth, since September of last year. This is also one of the reasons why Facebook is no longer a member of the FAANMG. In comparison to all of those other large technology businesses, Facebook's performance is quite low. Now, surprisingly enough, we come to the first setback. Apple, another member of the former FAANMG group, was responsible for the beginning of Facebook's fall from grace. Apple introduced app tracking transparency, which all of a sudden made it really easy for any normal person with an iPhone to shut out all of Meta's tracking and advertisements, which were their primary source of revenue. This was the beginning of the end for Facebook as a business. I can kind of understand why Meta would suddenly switch their business model, because Apple basically much shot them in the leg. But now it seems like Meta is shooting themselves in the leg, which I guess explains why the torsos are floating. They can just get a lot of investors with fake CGI legs, so they went ahead and produced a real thing, the Meta Quest Pro, which Meta also revealed at Connect 2022. Now, the Quest Pro is a little slightly different than the Quest 2, because it isn't really introduced to the market for gaming or whatever it is that the 300 or so people in the metaverse are doing. Instead, the Quest Pro is trying to become the solid rock of this virtual office that Zuck believes is going to be the cash cow that will put his business back at the top. Now, the selling price of the Quest Pro is $1,500, which makes it a significant financial investment. I mean, this is probably going to end up costing more than a business computer and a corporate phone that employees would get combined. On top of that, these headsets probably won't last as long as the laptops and the phones that firms are providing their employees. It's really incredibly difficult for me to envision individuals that would actually want to utilize one of these for their tasks. I mean, even the examples that were in the Quest Pro commercial are not very convincing to me. Like, here we see a woman using the Quest Pro to create 4 virtual monitors, but $1,500 is more than enough. Then we got this man with a beanie who can use his Quest Pro to create some floating stuff coming out of his skateboard, and then he picks up a Rubik's Cube and anxiously twiddles around with it. Like, come on, buddy, who is this actually for? Help me comprehend the job or even the trade that is going to be the change the world by this new tool. By this Mission Pro, prove to me that this entire virtual meta office is not just a long con strategy to get businesses to purchase their headsets for their white-collar employees, so that they can have over-engineered group meeting about things that could just have been explained in a 3-paragraph email. Like come on, man, like, who is this actually for? Help me comprehend the job or the trade that is going to. I'm sick of attending meetings that could just as easily be conducted over email. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Have a good one.